It'll be Purawhau. It'll be Purawhau. Because Purawhau is the marae that will cover all of the tribes in Whangarei, in the Whangarei district. It also includes Whangarei District Council, Whangarei District Council and other organisations like that have been encouraged to see the marae Purawhau as being the main Whangarei marae. So I was saying to Pat before that Purawhau is probably a good place for the school to be able to have that connection to. The other thing is that it's as you'll all know, it's a carved house. It's a carved house, so the histories are carved into the walls, have been woven into the lattice panels, into the tuku panels, and have been painted onto the kōwhaiwhai rafters. So, a lot of our stories, and even what I'm talking to you about now, are contained in that house. So I think it's a good place to see as the marae for Hora Hora.
So when you talk about merging and payback, would that have been a peaceful process, a largely peaceful process, or was that?
It was a most grisly process, I think. Yeah. The whole thing of eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth, the whole thing of revenge.
So it was,
Yeah.
And but the merging with the tribes, presumably there was intermarriage, etc.
That's right.
So,
That's
was
right.
that like a peaceful process as well, or
The intermarriages?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes the intermarriages were political.
Yeah.
Well, they were always with a reason.
Yeah.
And it could very well be that you had to have alliance. You had to have capacity in terms of people resources and manpower. So you'd align yourself like that, and you'd set that up, maybe through marriages, or the marriages may have been formed through peacemaking. Peacemaking, because there was a very strong custom of peacemaking called the Greenstone Door. Have people heard of the Greenstone Door? The Greenstone Door. The Greenstone Door is where a marriage union is set up between warring factions, warring tribes, where and the Greenstone Door is always the woman who's been brought in to become brought into that to create that marriage. That woman is called the Greenstone Door because she's supposed to seal the peacemaking between those warring tribes. And they call her the Greenstone Door because the door is unable to be broken. If the door is broken, if, for example, the peace discussions, and then later on there's a breach in those discussions, then and say, for example, a war takes place and a killing happens, then that's not seen as a killing with justice. So there may be some, in those ancient warring times, there would have been killing with justice, you see, where some strong offence had been committed against those particular tribes, so that would be seen as being just. But if a peacemaking is taking place where the Greenstone Door is being set in place, and then that is breached later on, then that's seen as being what they call in Māori kohuru, or murder. So, that's why I say that. I mean, the last time when I came to talk with Hora Hora, it was afterwards, and I thought, oh gosh, some of the stories I had to tell were rather grisly, But, however, that's our history. And thank goodness it's 2014 because a lot of changes have happened since. Yeah.
So if you were to use pūkawakawa for this side of the Raumanga awa, if you were on that te rataha o te awa, like at the kohanga reo at Raumanga, would you then affiliate to Ruarangi, being on that side of the awa?
Yeah, the awa really that I'm speaking of, where there's a division between these, where the demarcation line between these two people here is the Whangari Harbour and the Hatea River.
But to affiliate the kohanga reo over in Raumanga,
Yeah.
would they use Raumanga te awa Ruarangi te maunga?
Yes, they
and
would.
not Manaia?
Well, they may choose Manaya for a particular reason, although in their own immediate vicinity is Ruarangi, yeah, in their own immediate area, But Manaya, of course, is a mauna that will cover all of the whāngai people, and it's not very identifying. You know what I mean? If you're it's a very general identification, whereas that kohanga over in Raumanga, if they would say, ko Ruarangi te maunga, ko Raumanga te awa, in my hearing, I would immediately locate them to where they are. Whereas if they were to say, ko Manaia te maunga, then in my mind I'm looking at that whole wider landscape. And I mean, that's not a problem, because, well, they come from Whangare. But if they say, ko Ruarangi te maunga, ko Raumanga te awa, then you can say, they come from right there. And that's what I was saying in terms of being able to have identification, that's specific.
And a lot of our children are from the...
So, and I dare say that that's also what's happening now, Pat, is that you've got all these chiefs who are arguing their point because they believe in what it is that they're arguing. They're arguing it. We're all arguing amongst ourselves, and we all look like we're each other's enemy. But the minute the crown steps in, then they all close up like this, and you're up against the force. So that's really why that's one of the I suppose in a simple way describing the situation that's sitting at present with two horonuku and te kotahitanga. Yeah. This thing up here, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. You see, they put all the chiefs on the ship and left all the Indians back in the island. Yeah. Did you have a question? There was a preference by his mother for her oldest daughter, that her oldest daughter be the However, on her death, because the discussions never happened until the death of the Ariki takes place. And so on her death, the big discussion was about having a queen. And there were some tribes who weren't happy with that. Especially the Te Arawa tribes, the Rotorua tribes and the Taupo tribes weren't happy with that because I suppose it's their tribal culture where their preference was that leader should be a male. Yeah, even though I believe it was the same sort of discussion that happened on the death of the Queen's father when he died, and there was some strong discussion then, around looking for the male successor. But at that time there were too many chiefs and elders who said it needed to stay within the senior descendant of those lines, and so she became the first female Ariki. And I'm talking about in modern times. I mean, previously there would have been female Ariki, but certainly since the initiation of of the King movement with Portatau. So Portatau being the first king, the second one being his son Tawhia, the third one being the next one, that one's son Mahuta, and the next one being that one's son Terata, and then the Queen's father Koroki. So there have been 5 of them, five of them within this modern age, although there would have been other ariki, prior to that, but certainly within the history of the Kihitanga movement, there have been 5, to her, there had been 5 kings and then her. And now, of course, they're up to king ariki number 6, or is it? Number 6. Yeah.
Taipiri, I was just wondering whether people would like and yourself a short break to have a cup of tea or something.
I think that would be good. Yeah. What time is it now, Pat?
11:15.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think if we can talk what I would be, that they're all like this. And once again, you've got a capital, 2 capitals within the one word. And the same argument, they'll say that this is the plural the, and this here is the ancestor after whom these people are named. So therefore that ancestor's name is deserving of a capital. However, the jury's out on that one. I think they haven't sort of come back and said, okay, right, well, we're in agreement with you, with these people who are writing conventions. Yeah. How do they explain that? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I can't say, but if you want to follow me, you can.
How would you write Hora Hora?
Some people will say it's 2 words, and some people will also write it as 2 words. Yeah. Saying it that way, that's why they're writing it as 2 words. And that's why I'm saying that the jury appears to be out.
And for Hora Hora, would you write it with 2 capitals in 1 word, or would you stick to 1 capital? Or
I'd stick to 1 capital.
right,
1 capital because unlike these, it's 1 word.
right. I've got. Sorry.
Yeah. That's right. You would Hora Hora. That's right. So if we were to make a tabletop, for example, you would pull out the tabletop.